John Lusk here of Lusk Archery Adventures. Series testing, successful hunting. Today I'm going to be testing a broadhead that really does allow you to increase the cut size of any other head you're using by a full 2 inches. This is the True Blue Crossbreed Elite series. You may have seen me test the True Blue Original, or actually I think it was the Pro series that came out last year, and if you haven't, check out that video. It did really well. I was impressed. I wasn't expecting much, and I thought it was more of a gimmick, but it actually impressed me. But now they've updated some things and improved upon the design a bit and given it a bit more durability and modularity. So we're going to zoom on in here, go through some of the design features and specifications, and then put it to the test. Now, I'm not going to be shooting it at long range. I don't do that with mechanicals because they all fly really well at long range. But I did do a test of the Crossbreed Pro Series in that other video where I shot it out to 30 yards with another broadhead screwed into the top. So it flew really well. You can check that out if you're curious about that. But let's see how this Elite series performs. Here's a good close-up look at the Elite Series Crossbreed. Now, the strength of the Crossbreed design in general is its modularity, okay? Its flexibility, that you can add all kinds of different broadheads to it and give it as big or as small of a cut as you want. That's pretty cool. But what they've done with the Elite Series is they've increased the modularity and they've also increased the durability. In terms of the durability, you'll notice that it now has this black ferrule. That's an anodized aluminum ferrule there, so it's black. It's not as reflective out in the woods, which I really appreciate. That all silver was a bit bright out in the woods. So now it's black, but in addition to that, now it's 70-75 aluminum. Previously, it was 60-61, and 60-61 actually held up fine in my testing, but 70-75 is much more durable. It's stronger than some steels. So it's such a long ferrule like that, and one that has a bit of venting to it, it's nice to be using one of the strongest aluminums available in that 70-75. Now you still have this same 2 inches of cut that, you know, the O-ring slides back upon penetration, and then you've got this cut right here that's a full 2 inches. The blades are the same. They're 0.039 inches thick, like 1 millimeter thick. So nice thick blades and a really cool blade angle to that. I like the way that they've done that. But then what makes the Elite Series different in terms of modularity is it's even more modular than the original because it comes with this chisel tip. In the past, the heads did not come with a tip. You had to insert a broadhead to give it a tip, and that would increase the weight. But with this one, you can shoot it as it is and have a great mechanical head with a 2 inches of cut at 100 grains. And that's where this chisel tip was inserted. Now the chisel tip is made out of 70-75 aluminum as well. And I'm interested to see how durable that's going to be in a hard impact. I'm not used to seeing a tip made out of aluminum. However, it is a good aluminum, and this tip is a really short, stout chisel tip. So if any tip is going to hold up being 70-75 aluminum, I think this is the one that's going to do it. So again, you can shoot it just like this and have a nice 2 inches of cut, or you can add in other broadheads. Here, for example, I've added a 1-inch 2-blade broadhead. So now this total cut size is 3 inches. This is an extract broadhead. Interestingly, also made out of Australia. Really good broadheads. You can check out my tests of those. But I like, when I use a broadhead in front of this, I like to use a really short one because it's already long enough and I don't want it to be too long. So I try to go with a short, stout broadhead. The extract is a perfect short 2-head broadhead if you're looking for a 2-blade. So now with this 1 inches of cut this way, 2 inches of cut that way, you've got a total of 3 inches of cut. And what's also nice is the Crossbreed comes with a bunch of little shims or little washers that you can insert right there at the base, and then you can make sure that the broadhead screws in the exact position you want to maximize the cut. Like you would want a 2-blade to be perpendicular to these mechanical blades. You don't want them to be in the same plane because that would kind of defeat the purpose. So using those little washers, you can make sure that they line up like that, and then you're getting the maximum cut of those 3 inches of cut. Another combination that I really like is using a tooth of the arrow. And this is a Tooth of the Arrow original 1-inch model. What I like about using it with the Crossbreed is it has a really short overall length, just like that Extract, but now in 4 blades. And I think it has like the shortest profile of any 4-blade head on the market, or certainly one of them. So it's a perfect combination with this Crossbreed. So now I can be getting an incredible cut, 2 inches of cut from the Tooth of the Arrow, and then another 2 inches of cut from the Crossbreed. So I'm getting 4 inches of cut with this Broadhead. And again, you can add the little shims, the little washers, to make sure that it lines up perfectly to where you're maximizing your cut. And now you're cutting not only in these 4 different areas, but you're also adding 2 more areas. So you're cutting in 6 different planes and getting 4 inches of cut. I got to use this on a deer last year. The deer kind of surprised me, and it was staring straight at me, and I had to make it a really quick shot. And unfortunately, I hit it a little bit back. I hit it in the liver. But thankfully, because there was 4 inches of cut, cutting in 6 planes, that deer only went about 20 yards and piled up. I'd never seen a liver shot take out an animal so quickly, but that's what this kind of thing can do. And then you could get really crazy. You could add a Tooth of the Arrow XL to it. That way you're getting about almost 2.5 inches of cut here, plus the Crossbreed 2 inches of cut. So then you're getting about 4.5 inches of cut. So based on the animal that you're pursuing, based on the power of your setup, I love this modularity. It's just kind of fun to mix and match and see what really works best for you. So for most of the testing of this head, this new Elite series, I'm going to be using it with its chisel tip because that's its new thing. But again, you could add anything you want to make the cut as big as you want as well. Now here I want to show you some of the things that come with the packaging because you really get a great value. It comes with 12 little washers, these spacers that I was referencing earlier there in the bottom, and then it comes with 6 spare blades. So that's really nice. I mean, there's only 2 in each broadhead, so you're basically getting 3 new broadheads in a sense. And then it comes with those a bunch of different O-rings, like 12 different O-rings to be able to utilize if the first ones break, though they are really durable, or if you lose them or something. So it's a really nice value overall to get this all included in the package. So I'm really eager to put these heads to the test with the chisel tip, even though I know their performance is optimized with another broadhead screwed in the top. But I'm using my Bowtech SR6 set at 72 pounds and Bishop Archery FOC King arrows at 460 grains. And before I begin the actual testing, I want to have some fun shooting this head with a Tooth of the Arrow XL up front at some things just to see how much damage it can do. Let's check it out. Man, that does some serious damage. Crossbreed out-of-the-box sharpness. 100. It penetrated 6.5 inches. I want to show you the entrance hole that we had here from the Crossbreed Elite. The cutting diameter of the blades is 2 inches when they're fully deployed, but they actually are a bit wider than that when they're spread out horizontal. And so you can see the entrance cut here is 2 3/4 inches. I've never seen an over-the-top deploying mechanical head have that big of an entrance hole. It's really impressive. $250. It penetrated through 53 layers. So here's the head after going through the MDF 5 times. And it did very well for a mechanical compared to most, especially for its cut size. And the blades open remarkably well. I mean, they get their full deployment on impact, which is pretty striking for an over-the-top expandable. Now you can see there's a slight wobble to it after the 5 shots. You open it up and you can see the blades held up perfectly well. The tip held up perfectly well. The only problem that I can see here is at the base of the ferrule, the blades like pushed back into the ferrule and kind of cut a bit. They made like a groove into the ferrule there itself. Now again, that's after 5 shots. It wasn't after the first shot. And it didn't bother me because I have these hardened steel inserts. Okay, I like my Bishop Archery hardened steel inserts. I don't know if there's any other hardened steel inserts that are made, maybe so, but these just don't break or dent. So they protected it from hurting the arrow. But they're actually designed to do that. And the reason is, if they have a hard impact, and say they had like a steel collar right here to prevent them from going back, then the blades are probably going to break. And that's not a good thing in terms of harvesting the animal. So they choose to keep this aluminum right here at the base, so it has just a little bit of give. It can absorb that impact if the blades have a super hard impact, and that way the blades don't bend and they don't break. So on the negative side is after 5 shots, it dug into the ferrule there quite a bit. On the positive side, the blades didn't come out of their retention system, and they didn't bend and they didn't break. Now the cutting diameter decreased a little bit to about 1.5 inches rather than 2 inches because they go back farther because of that groove that they made in the ferrule. So overall, pretty cool design to keep that durability, and really pretty good durability overall. So here's the head after being shot into the concrete. And as you can see, there's quite a bit of damage there. The ferrule bulged out and bent right there. The tip actually held up really well. I was wondering how the tip would do. The tip did really well, but the ferrule really got jacked up there. The blades popped out. They never impacted the concrete. And this wasn't one of my Bishop arrows. This was a footed Easton hex shaft. And you can see that the head there was driven back into the footing of the shaft right there. Not many mechanical heads make it through the Cinderblock test, to be honest. So what do you think of the Crossbreed Elite series? And I gotta tell you, I really like the modularity of it. The design in general, at first I was really skeptical of it, like I said earlier, but it performed very well in my testing and in the field. And man, if you want to add an extra 2 inches to your cut, this is the head to do it with. And you can also use the chisel tip like we've seen, and it functions as a regular mechanical and even deploys as effectively on impact as a rear deploying mechanical. Man, that's just surprised me. But it deploys extremely well on impact. You get that full cut, even bigger than the full cut. And then it's just kind of fun to mix and match different broadheads with it, whether you want to use the chisel tip it comes with, or screw in a 2-blade or a 3-blade or a 4-blade, or maybe get a little cray-cray and put in a big old mechanical at the end of it. It's just fun to do that. And you can do that based on your setup and what animal you're hunting. But it's definitely worth a look if you're wanting to add that 2 inches. Great job, True Blue.